Hello everybody and welcome in to the DME PrepZone Southern Orthopedic Game of the Week show. We are here and back one at our favorite places to be, a favorite place for a lot of residents to be at for great food and great times. We're at Green Top here at Dora in the original location for this week's big show. And Jeff, we have a big one. East versus West, the Battle of the Bulldogs, as it's going to be Dora taking on Carbon Hill at Horse Robin Stadium.
Yeah, you've got Carbon Hill coming in. They're coming off a loss, but you can't negate what happened last year when Dora went to Carbon Hill. It was a sloppy, wet game, but Carbon Hill came away with that 16-0 win. You know Dora's going to be looking for that revenge factor to get that win back.
A short little recap of week one. And Jeff, it was not really a week off for a whole lot of the teams. Jasper pulled out a very big win. Big program win against the Coleman Bearcats. You had very good wins by Addison, by Winston County, by Corner, and also those Dora Bulldogs as they took down Cordova. And Summoning Christian just came within a hairbreadth.
I think Summoning Christian was the surprise of last week. To be able to come back from that deficit and nearly win that ball game in overtime, it says a lot. As small as that team is, it says a lot about the fight in that team and what they've got them believing that they can win.
Yep, and we have got a good slew of games this week. Now, Jasper actually does take the week off, so we won't be talking much more about them, but we do have two teams coming in Lynn and Oakman that'll be playing their first game. Everybody else will be in action. We also have some inter-PrepZone action going on beyond Carbon Hill Dora that we'll be talking about as well.
Yeah. I have had a complete brain. I'm glad y'all can edit this because I just had a complete mental brain fart.
Just recompose.
Yeah. Yeah, I suck on camera if you don't notice this. All right, what did you just say?
We have a lot of good games with Oakman and Lynn coming in, and we've got a lot of intra-county games that are going to be played that'll be big.
Okay. Yeah, we've got Curry traveling to Oakman this week, and it's going to be Oakman's first game. And I don't really want to get too deep into how the game's going to play out because we still got our picks coming up at the end of the show. Don't forget about that. But you know that Curry won that game last year. They've lost a lot of talent. You know, Oakman's going to be looking to get that one back. You've got Cordova at Hamilton. We got a slew of games coming up this week that I think we're going to be really excited to see. And it's going to make some great coverage on PrepZone this week.
And we're going to be back in just a few moments. We want to once again thank Green Top, Tony Hedrick, who might be maybe doing a special guest appearance here for the picks. Could we maybe get Tony in here? I don't know. We're going to have to work on that. But Tony and his crew down here at Green Top really do a superior job. They are very good supporters of teams in our area and athletics in our area, and we really appreciate them sponsoring us today for the Southern Orthopedic stuff. We're going to have to get something to eat before we get out of here. You know?
Yeah, I'm sitting here smelling this food. It is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to be back in just a few moments, and our first team up will be the west side of the county. It will be the Carbon Hill Bulldogs, so stay tuned. Welcome back in, everybody. We are back now with the Carbon Hill Bulldogs as we're previewing the Battle of the Bulldogs, East County versus West County. Of course, with us today, the head coach of the Carbon Hill Bulldogs, Travis Williams. Coach, if you could, introduce your two players that you brought here today.
I guess we have Alex Atkins, linebacker, running back. We have Dalton Perry, wingback, safety.
Well, Coach, welcome in. Happy to have you guys in. You started off the year against a very good Hope team. With a 28-9 loss, but a lot of turnovers, a lot of miscues on special teams kind of led to this. You guys did get some action in. Matthew Wallace was 4 for 6 for 36 yards. Dalton, he had 2 catches for 27 yards. And, of course, your defense played very well. Alex, he ended up player of the week. Talk a little bit about the first game and some of the things that you obviously saw you needed to improve on.
Well, for our first game, like you said, we had tons of mistakes, and that's the beauty of football is getting better week to week. And we kind of had some miscues, that cost us, on special teams and not taking care of the football. And we really thrive on trying to win those battles, the turnover battle and special team battle, and we couldn't afford it, and it happened. But the good thing about it is we got a fresh start Saturday morning, woke up, and come in Sunday for film, and I feel like we've had a pretty good week of practice up to this point, and I'm interested to see how the guys going to respond.
Injury-wise, just nicks and bruises of a first game, no big injuries?
No big injuries, just, getting guys in the game shape. You can condition all summer or what be, but there's still not nothing like Friday night when them lights come on, And I think we have avoided the injury bug, and like I said, we're just trying to get in better football shape.
Well, guys, we'll turn to you guys for a couple of questions. First and foremost, looking at this game last year, you guys know what this did for your season. What possibly the most successful Carbon Hill season that they've had, at least within the decade's time. This was kind of the springboard. So it's obviously a motivation for you guys to have that same type of performance for you. What's your thoughts?
I agree. This game last year had a lot to do with the rest of the year. We're trying to come in this week and just focus on beating our opponents on the east side.
I agree with what he said. We just got to keep our heads high and just keep doing what we're doing.
From a standpoint of looking at the overall picture of things, you obviously want to also have the motivation of showing that you're better than you showed in that first week. You want to show your improvements. What do each one of you on a personal level look to improve on this week?
I think this week we've had a pretty good week so far. Practice, the intensity's been raised up a bar, and overall focus has been raised up a bar. So I think we're in good shape for this Friday night.
Friday night we had a lot of mistakes about lining up late on defense, and we've been upping our focus in Friday, for Friday and stuff like that. We just been paying a lot more attention in practice and raising our bar for focus.
Guys, last year you guys played in a lot of big game atmospheres. This one's going to be a big game atmosphere, like a lot of those games that you played in last year. When it comes to the big game, when you're in a visiting stadium, what do you guys do on a personal level and on a player level to kind of tune out the noise and concentrate?
We just try to create our own energy and take the home crowd out of the game overall. We had to eliminate big plays on our defense, eliminate big plays, just keep the home side crowd quiet as possible and create our own energy.
Righty then. Well, we're going to do a little something different here, and we played that with some of the players during media days. We actually are going to be playing 7 questions, in which we're going to ask you guys about 6 of them. We're going to ask Chavis one of them, and it's just kind of a fun-loving, have fun with it atmosphere. So, are you guys ready to play 7 questions?
Ready.
Okay. First off, Alex. Our first question: if you had $1 billion that was given to you tomorrow, what would you do first?
Invest it.
Invest it. I tell you what, if a parent hears that, they love it. They absolutely love it. Okay, Dalton, if you could hang out with anybody for one day, who would you hang out with?
It'd probably have to be either Patrick Mahomes or Tyreek Hill.
Wow, going the professional level so you can learn something, huh? Nice. Okay, we're going to go back to Alex. Alex, what is your dream car?
Ooh. I would say a Lamborghini sports car.
Well, Lamborghini. Now, he's getting fancy on that one. Okay, Dalton, what was your favorite toy growing up? What did you really play with the most?
Probably just either football or basketball, if you want me to be honest with you.
Wow, football, basketball, always stuck in the mud. All right, now, Coach, we're going to break away for these for a second. What in either your high school, your college, or your pro days, what was the most embarrassing or funniest thing that happened to you?
Well, probably in college, I got peeled back on punt return.
Oh,
on
no.
Punt team, and lost my mouthpiece in the mix.
Did the guys give it to you when you got back on the
you
sideline?
you could actually see it on film flying in the air. So.
Good deal. All right, well, we're going to close out with 2 last questions. Alex, What's your favorite thing to do to relax? I know you're a pretty intense guy, so what do you do when you get off the field to kind of cut it back?
I like to hang out with my friends a lot and just talk about life in general or listen to music.
Okay, no problem. Sounds good. Dalton, you will get the final question. Will Alabama lose a game during the regular season this year?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. All right, you heard it all first. Guys, thank you so much for being on. We really enjoyed it and appreciated it. We're going to be back in just a moment with the Dora Bulldogs, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody, and we are now joined by the Dora Bulldogs in this Battle of the Bulldogs, East versus West. Coach Lockhart brings his Bulldogs in here. Coach, if you could really quickly introduce your players. We already know Bubba, who was with us last week. Introduce both Zach and Marcel.
All right, like you said, we got Bubba Henderson to your right there, and he's an offensive lineman for us. Next to him is Zach Hedrick. Zach is our defensive end, and on the other side is Marcel Davidson, and he plays running back and DB for us. Coach,
you started off on the right foot, getting a very good win in the rivalry game, 27-15. Established the tempo with the scores. Talk about the game overall and your thoughts on it.
With the field conditions and it being the first game, it's good to come out with a win. We made a lot of mistakes in every phase of the game, but I was proud that our kid. We played with great effort. I was really proud of our effort, but we've got a lot of things that we've been working to clean up this week. Offensively, I don't think I've ever been in a game where we've only had 31 snaps on offense. We had a special teams touchdown. We had a one-score drive. We had a two-score drive, a two-play score drive, and then we had a safety. And so all that accumulated into not many offensive plays, and our defense had to stay on the field a lot. And they played well. But once again, offensively, defensively, special teams, we've got a ways to go. But it's always good to be able to improve in week 2 and have that week 1 win.
Of course, injury bug did hit you with Brady going down with an injury. What's the updated status right now on his foot?
He nothing's broke, so that's a good news. It is a sprain. He's going to be week to week. I don't expect it to be a lingering thing, but we want to get him 100% healthy and not let it linger throughout the entire season. So he's doing therapy and he's rehabbing that, and so we'll just it'll be a week-to-week deal with him. We've had a few others, on that in the field conditions. We're fortunate to walk away with that being our only injury. We've had some injuries in training camp that hopefully in the next week or so we'll start getting those guys back also. Speaking of Brady, he brings a dynamic to our team in special teams that not a lot of other high school teams have. Mm-hmm. But I was extremely proud of our 2 younger kickers to come in and take over for him in a game 1 when they weren't planning to play at all, kicking off and extra points with Braden Williamson and punts with Brennan Davis. Really proud of the way they stepped up and handled their job the rest of the game after Brady went down.
Brady's doing a little mentoring, isn't he?
He is. He works with those guys every day.
Excellent. Guys, we'll turn to you for some questions this week. Takeaways from the Cordova game. What do you guys take away from obviously what was a big win? It was a big win on the opposing field. What are some of the things that you guys will take away?
We got a lot of work to do, especially on the offensive line. We missed a bunch of double teams getting back to the linebacker. We missed several blocks like that, and then our reach blocks. But defensive-wise, they stood in there and kept us in position to win. So we got to get better week by week, but we're right where we need to be at the moment.
Yeah, we on defense we really stepped up and helped the offense out a lot with key stops, and we just need to work on a little bit more things, then we should be good.
Well, a lot of our guys that are playing this year, they're young. This is their first time playing. Well, Friday was their first time playing under the lights. So I'm hoping those guys can take away, get those jitterbugs out of them from that first game. Playing for us 4 quarters their first time. So we just got to get better week to week. So we'll hope those guys get better.
Excellent. you guys are home for the first time this year. And of course, this game this week was played at GW Key Stadium. This time you have it here. What does that do for you guys as players when you get to play a big rivalry game there in front of the home crowd?
It's always great to play in front of our crowd. They're loud. They're real energetic. They bring a lot more energy to the game and give us a lot more energy. But it's all about us going out there and executing our jobs. If we do that, we're in good position.
Yeah, we've got a great student section that helps bring energy and makes like a playoff type atmosphere, and it just helps out a lot, especially on those key stops and on defense.
Well, we love playing in front of our fans and stuff like that. I mean, there's no way I'd rather play football than at home. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of a help, if you will.
Guys, obviously, motivation is not going to be a factor in this game. You've got a rivalry game. It's the east part of the county versus the west part of the county. And, of course, there's last year you watched Carbon Hill. I know, as everybody else does, grew up to be that good program, way different from what we may have seen 6-7 years ago. There's obviously motivation for you all coming into this game after getting blanked last year. What do you personally, each one of you, take from it?
Last year, we went in with no energy, and last year taught us that no matter who you're playing, they're improving. Mm-hmm. So we've got to go out there and give all we got and play our hardest.
Yeah, we just got to play fundamentally sound football, and if we do that and play fast and physical, then we're going to like what we see.
Yeah, kind of like Bubba said, we kind of went out there, with no energy. You can't take any of your opponents lightly. So, I mean, we just got to step up this year.
All righty, guys, and we're about to play some 7 questions. And by the way, I'm not going to mention the exact name, but there is a prominent Dora alumni and her friends that ask us to bring this back. So we're following through on it. You guys ready to play 7 questions? Okay. Starting off, Bubba, what's your dream car?
My dream car would be I want a 2014 Silverado Chevy, jacked up. Some big mud tires.
Okay.
That'd be nice.
Bubba's hanging it out there with the big ones. Zach, what would you do if you were given $1 billion tomorrow? What would you do with it?
I'd have to put a little bit in the bank and have a little bit saved for me.
There we go. We're going to have to commend Tony for good stuff. All right. Marcel, what was your favorite toy growing up?
A football.
A football?
Yeah.
All righty. He grew up with it. All right, Coach, we're going to break in. And your high school playing days, your college playing days, and coaching. What's been your most embarrassing or funny moment for you?
As a 9th grader, we played at Vincent High School, and they were really good. I was the quarterback and the punter. The first thing that happened is our personal protector got hurt, and this is something that every special teams period we talk about now that this has happened to me personally, but the personal protector that we had to put in backed up, and so I punted the ball into the personal protector.
Oh, no.
Also in that game, we set a state record for most pass attempts in a game. The embarrassing part is not the pass attempts, it's how many of those passes were completed.
Oh,
and so
no.
that's in the history books for everybody to see. There wasn't many completed. But yeah, that would probably be the most embarrassing.
Wow, he's got a definite star by that one. All righty then. Bubba, if you could hang out with anyone for one day, who would you hang out with?
If I could hang out with anyone, it'd be my papa.
Do you papa?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I miss him.
That's awesome. Okay. Zach, what is your favorite thing to do to relax?
I'd have to put on some music and just chill out in my room.
You just go relaxing. All right. Marcel, you get the final question. Will Alabama lose a game during the regular season this year?
No.
No.
Definitely not.
Wow. They're going 2-0 on that one. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck on Friday night. We'll see you all out there, and we'll be back with our picks and a special guest for our picks. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. We want to again thanks to the Dora Bulldogs and the Carbon Hill Bulldogs for joining us, and our big sponsors right here, the man in with a plan, Tony Hedrick, and his crew here at Green Top. We really appreciate them. And this week we kind of got Tony to help us out because as you noticed, we're short a little bit this week. James Phillips, our fearless leader, he's on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan, and Jonathan Bentley's rescuing kittens out of trees, but they're going to be back on Friday night helping us out with the good coverage. But we're going to do a rundown of this week's games, and JW, if you could, you're going to be the man with the plan. You take the ball and run with it.
All right, we're going to start off. We've got number 3, Class 2A number 3 Addison traveling to Class 3A number 2 Piedmont. This is one of only 2 losses for Addison last year, and Piedmont was the runner-up in the state championship. You've got Addison, who had 320 yards of total offense last week. You got first-year starting quarterback Christian Roberts, went 7 of 14 for 131 yards and a touchdown. I think this is going to be a tricky game. Addison's got a lot of experience coming back, a lot more than they did last year. They walked away with a 32-20 loss against Piedmont a year ago. I would almost lean Addison if it was not on the road, but I think because it is that road trip, you got to deal with that home field advantage that Piedmont has. I think Piedmont's going to pull this one out again.
And I'm going to take Piedmont in this one. Addison's one of the best teams in 2A to me, definitely by the ranking as well. A lot of people also think that. Piedmont's one of the best teams in 3A. So there is going to be a little bit more of a depth advantage for Piedmont naturally, but that's a long trip over there for Addison, all the way over to basically the state line, and I think that plays in home field advantage. So I'm going to take Piedmont, but this is in no way going to be a blowout. I think it's probably going to come down to either a field goal or a touchdown. So what do you think, Tony?
You know, filling in the shoes of James Phillips, this is going to be a tough job.
It is.
It is. But, you know, not so fast, my friend, as we would hear on ESPN. I think Addison, I think they're going to be ready for this ball game this week. I think they're going to come in and get the victory versus Piedmont in a close game also.
Oh, good deal.
All right, next up we've got Cordova coming off that loss to Dora last week versus Hamilton, traveling on the road. Cordova last week was hurt by some mistakes. They had to block punt, fumble, penalties proved really costly for the Blue Devils. I really think they're going to be headed in the right direction. Last year, Hamilton blanked them 32-0. Again, similar to my pick last week. I think Cordova is on the rise. I think they're going to be better. But so they will not get shut out again. But again, it's a rebuilding year. It's going to take them time. And I do believe that Hamilton's going to beat Cordova again for the second straight year.
I've said for time and time over the years that when you're a visitor playing at Hamilton, things that you normally don't happen. That's just part of it. They have a special kind of advantage at Hamilton. I think Cordova will play a lot better, but unless Cordova just goes out there and jumps hard on Hamilton and puts them down hard, I just simply think that it's going to end up being a Hamilton victory, and that's what I see.
Hamilton's, I know that they in the preseason polls this year received some votes. I think they played a scrimmage game last week to open the season against Oakman, but I think Cordova's improved this year. But going against the Hamilton team, stepping up again in class again, I think they'll have a difficult time with that.
All right, up next we've got Oak Grove traveling to Corner. This will be Corner's home opener for 2019. Oak Grove's coming off a 39-7 loss to Walter Wellborn. You've got Corner coming off a 20-12 win versus Northside. Last year, Corner just blew them out of the stadium. That was on the road. I think Corner is going to easily handle this game and come out with a win against Oak Grove.
Yeah, Oak Grove, one of the struggling teams, not necessarily in our area, but just outside of our area. So we see them a lot. They struggle handily. Corner is really going to be a big-time program this year. I can really see it already. They're running on all cylinders. They blow Oak Grove out of the water and get plenty of playing time for the backups.
Yeah, I can't go against Coach Clements at Corner. He's got to know him, a really good coach and good friend of mine now. And I tell you, he's doing a tremendous job there. You've got to go with Corner in that ball game.
All right, up next we've got Curry traveling to Oakman. Oakman played a jamboree game last week, so this will actually be their season opener. Look, Oatman's got Christian Hubbard coming back. He was the preseason Eagle All-Elite running back. Curry gave up 320 yards to Addison last week. Me and you have talked about all offseason about Curry's defense last year, how great they played. But they lost so much talent on that side of the ball. I just don't think they're going to be able to contain Christian Hubbard. I think he's going to have an outstanding game against the Yellow Jackets, and I expect Oatman to be 1-0 by the end of Friday night.
Yeah, and Addison also got some good stuff done through the air, in which you got Malachi Bridges back. He's got a good group of receivers, and he can always flare it out to Christian Hubbard. So they're going to get it done through the air. From what I saw from Curry, they've got a lot of work they got to do. We know that they've lost an incredible amount of seniors from last year's team. It's going to take some more time growing up. I think Oatman rolls pretty easy at home on this one. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, Coach Hall, his first game as the head coach of Oatman, I believe that they will get the win over the Yellow Jackets.
All right, up next we got Phillips Bear Creek traveling to Lynn. Similar to Oatman, this will be Lynn's first game of the season. They played a scrimmage game, and you've got Phillips coming off a 48-7 loss to Decatur Heritage. Lynn won this game 38-19 in 2018. I think it's going to be pretty much the same, especially being at Lynn this year. I don't think Decatur Heritage is going to be able to put up too much of a challenge, and I think Lynn's going to walk away with the win.
Yeah, I think Phillips is pretty much another one of those struggling teams, and I think the score offensively might remain the same for Lynn, but I think the score for Phillips might go down a little bit. So I'm almost thinking it's probably going to end up being 38-10, somewhere in there. But Lynn absolutely rolls in this one. What do you think, Tony?
I agree. Also, Lynn definitely think this program should be a playoff team.
Absolutely.
All right, for our next one, we're going to go north of the county line into Winston County. You've got Meek traveling to Winston County, featuring the Daily Mountain Eagle Offensive Player of the Week, Austin Owens, who rushed for 4 touchdowns and 181 yards last week. Meek won this game by a point last year, but I'm going to go with the home field advantage. You're traveling to Double Springs to take on the Yellow Jackets. I think Winston County is going to win this one, get that win back from a year ago. I look for Austin Owens to have another great game. Winston County is going to win this one. And
you would probably agree with me if this Meek Winston County game last year was played in Week 9, it would have been a totally different game.
I agree. You've got these teams that don't have the huge rosters, and we're going to touch base on that point on our next game. But I really think that if they had more depth, that they would be able to go the whole season. But yeah, you got these smaller teams that are great early in the season, but they just don't have the depth to carry over and perform like that at the end.
Well, I think Austin Owens runs absolutely wild in this game. I see Winston County running away with it pretty easy in the second half. I think Meek can kind of keep them close, maybe within 10 points. The first half, second half, they're going to blow them out of the water. So definitely Winston County.
I agree. Winston County, I believe, just have too much for them.
You got Summoning Christian at Decatur Heritage. Summoning Christian played the game of their lives last week, winning that game, losing that game in overtime against Hansville. Sort of what I was just saying about the small teams. The head coach got that team believing that they can win, and that's going to do a lot for a football program. The problem is their roster is so small. I do not think they're going to have the depth. They're going to get beat up, but luckily for them, we're still early in the season. Decatur Heritage beat them 31-7 last year. I think Decatur Heritage is going to win this, but it's not going to be that much of a point differential, especially if the Eagles come in with the same mindset they had last week and just take the fight to them and try to make this a ball game, which I think they will, but Decatur Heritage is still going to win it.
Yeah, then the next 2 weeks, Summoning Christian's playing the Brooklyn Brawlers. I mean, they are absolutely playing lights-out teams that were good playoff teams. Unfortunately, that's just the draw of the region schedule. That's just the way that things set up when things were made up. If they can get through these 2 next games and show a lot of improvement, I think the back half of the schedule is going to light up really good for Summoning Christian, and they'll pick up some of those good wins. But this week, I'm definitely going to have to say it's going to be Decatur Heritage. But look for more improvement from Summoning Christian, and definitely not the same 31-6 score as last year, not at all.
Yeah. Coach Powell coming in, I know he brings a tremendous resume and just coming in and trying to turn the program around. Has had some difficulties last year, but I think still Decatur Heritage is too much for them again this week.
Righty.
All right, we're going to jump over to what's going to be taking place on Saturday. We're going to visit the Southeastern Conference and a couple games out of college football. We're going to rapid fire these. We've got Ole Miss at Memphis. Look, this is not the same Ole Miss team that beat Alabama 2 years in a row, but I still think they're good enough to beat Ole Miss or to beat Memphis.
Well, and I'm probably going to go against this. I think all the changes that they made, it's going to take a couple of weeks. I don't think Ole Miss is going to be quite ready for it. Defensively, I'm just looking for Ole Miss to make sure that they don't give up, 500 yards a game like they did last year. But I'm going to give it to Memphis. I think they're going to be readier in this contest than Ole Miss is.
Yeah, Memphis is one of the most prolific offenses the last few years, but I think they're still going to have too much for Ole Miss this year, and I think Memphis win that.
Okay. Up next, we got South Carolina traveling to North Carolina. Got that cross-state rivalry. Look, North Carolina just doesn't have the talent that South Carolina does. I think the Gamecocks going to win this one pretty easily.
Mac Brown needs some more building time, and unfortunately, he might do better with this game in a few years. But right now, South Carolina's in that hunt for the second spot behind Georgia. I'm going to say it's South Carolina.
Yeah, Jake Bentley and the South Carolina Gamecocks will be too much for Mac Brown 2.0.
Up next, we got Kelly Bryant making his quarterback debut in the Southeastern Conference. You've got Missouri traveling to Wyoming. Look, this is a fun game. We get these cross-conference games early in the season, week one. Look, Wyoming, we can agree that Missouri has outperformed expectations since coming into the conference.
Yes.
They're going to have a talent and size advantage over Wyoming. You've got Kelly Bryant, who, although he got beat out by Trevor Lawrence of all people, that's not saying a whole lot. He got beat out for the quarterback position. He's still a fantastic quarterback. And I think Missouri's going to win this one at least double digits.
Handily, Missouri takes this. Just on simple luau that Missouri's stocked versus a team like Wyoming, and I think they just run right through.
I think going to traveling to Laramie may be too much. I think Wyoming may win that in an upset.
Wow. Tony going with the upset.
I may have to pull that not so fast card on you right now.
Yeah, he just threw it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, now we're going to go hit our home teams. You've got Duke and number 2 Alabama in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Alabama received some terrible news out of practice last night. Linebacker Dylan Moses tore an ACL. He's out for the season. He led Alabama in 2018 with 86 tackles, 10 for loss, and 3.5 sacks. That is a huge, cannot overstate how much of a huge loss that is for Alabama. I was listening to WJOX on the way in. ESPN analyst Greg McElroy says he looks for Xavier McKinney to possibly step into that role for Bama. I think that's going to be our storyline coming out of this game, and to see how the defense is going to respond and who's going to step up and be that leadership role. With that said, Alabama's going to roll all over Duke. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, and I think realistically what this kind of does is it doesn't change the outcome of this game. What the next 2 games, along with the New Mexico State game, what they actually do is going to show us who is going to be the replacement, who's going to be the leader to step in. It just doesn't change the outcome. Alabama's going to roll all over Duke, but what we're going to look at more than anything is the quarterback of the defense. Now that Dylan Moses is gone, who's going to step in this role, and how do they perform?
Yeah, you stole my thunder. That's what me and Coach Williams were talking about a while ago, that he's losing his quarterback now. But I tell you, Coach Cutcliffe at Duke has done a tremendous job over the years developing quarterbacks, but I don't think you could bring Daniel Jones back and win that game this week. He's going to struggle. They'll struggle against Alabama this week in the opener.
All right, we're going to look at our only top 25 match in the country this weekend. Number 11 Oregon and number 16 Auburn in Arlington. Gus Malzahn, surprising to me, named a starting quarterback before the game. You got Bo Nix, who was a former state champion at Pinson Valley, fantastic quarterback, and he's going up against an Oregon defense that gave up 428 yards per game last year. The thing is, this is not Oregon under Chip Kelly anymore.
No.
This is an Oregon team that they want to go tempo, they want to go fast. They just do not have the talent on roster to be able to do what they used to do when these teams played for a national championship game. I think that if Bo Nix can come in, take control of this offense, and Gus can run the style of play that he wants to play, Auburn's going to win this game. It's going to be close. I'd say no more than a 10-point differential, but I still think Auburn's going to walk away with the win.
To me, these are typically when Auburn struggles the most, these first few games. And your biggest struggle, most likely in a system that Gus Malzahn wants to run, is going to be his quarterback getting everything. That's asking a lot out of a brand new true freshman. I think on that grounds only, Auburn has a few miscues, and that's going to be the decider in game. I'm going to Oregon.
I think Bo Nix was born and raised to play quarterback at Auburn by his dad. I think he's been trained for this. I think the offense is going to be somewhat similar to what he's ran in high school. And I don't think it's a game that Bo Nix is going to have to go out and win, but it's a game that he could lose for Auburn. I think Auburn stands behind their defense, their defensive line, especially in the 6 running backs that they named a starter yesterday.
And don't forget, Gus Malzahn's coming back to call the plays this year. He's getting back to what he wants to do. So if he's named that starter, he sees something there that he can run that style of offense again.
I still think you see Joey Gatewood play some because he was compared to the next Cam Newton when he came to Auburn. But still, I think Bo Nix is he's just more of a mature kid, even as a true freshman compared to redshirt freshman.
Well, to that point, how many times have we heard quarterbacks be called the next Cam Newton at Auburn and it never pans out? All right, up next, we've got our Southern Orthopedic game of the week. We've got Carbon Hill at Dora. Look, Carbon Hill won this game last year. It was a sloppy, wet, rainy game. Carbon Hill played outstanding defense in 2018 to blank the Bulldogs. However, you've got Dora coming back. You had Matthew Busby went 2 for 9 for 41 yards. You had Ikea Jose 9 rushes for 103 yards, and then that 77-yard touchdown, which honestly, in my opinion, proved to be the backbreaker against Cordova. I think Carbon Hill can be on the rise. I think they're going to be a good team. It's just not going to be in this game. Dora's not going to get shut out. Dora's going to win this ball game. Get that win back from a year ago. Like I said earlier, you can't ignore the revenge factor. Dora wants this win.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, to me, coming into this game is Carbon Hill doesn't have that offensive development yet. And I think it's going to take a few more weeks before they do. Carbon Hill's got a good defense. I mean, they've got a great leader in Alex Atkins back there. They also have Perez as also his running mate, and they've got some guys up front, but the offensive development is going to be the key. I think Dora takes this game. I think it's going to be relatively close until the fourth quarter. I think they're going to be up 10-0, but another touchdown there in the fourth is going to seal it. I'm going to say somewhere around 17-0.
You know, Dora, they took one on the chin last year at Carbon Hill, and I think that may have been a wake-up factor for this year. I think this will make the kids a little bit more motivated. I think we've got a pretty good two-headed monster at the running back position with Ike and Marcel Davidson. But I think the X factor now is I think we're going to get Matthew Busby, making his first start last week. I think we're going to get behind him. And I'm going to pick the Bulldogs. I guess, is that politically correct enough?
You got to say at least East or West.
Yeah, I would have to say my Dora Bulldogs will come out.
Dora Bulldogs.
All right, guys. All of our notes, all of our information, everything can be found at DMEPrepZone.com. That is a new initiative we've started this year. Stay tuned to it on Friday nights. We're going to have box scores updated throughout the night. We've got updated region standings. There's a ton of information to be found on this website. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at MT Eagle Sports. That you're also going to get the updates throughout the night on there. Our traditional Twitter account at Daily MT Eagle, as well as MountainEagle.com. Be sure to follow us across all of that. We've got so much information coming at you fast every Friday night and Saturday morning with the recaps in both the Daily Mountain Eagle and MountainEagle.com.
Well, guys, you know something? We might need to keep Tony on retainer. I mean, he was bringing some insight. You got some good hands there and some good minds there, man.
I appreciate that. I enjoy doing this. I do a little bit of work on Friday nights during the games, and it kind of keeps me into it a little bit more.
Yeah, we've run into you a bunch there up in the press box. You're going to have to come by and say hey to us because we're going to be broadcasting the game, of course. And that takes us into reminding everybody that we're going to have our 360-degree coverage. Tell them a little something about that, Jeff. When we say 360, give them some insight since you're our social media guru.
Look, every Friday night at our game of the week, we're going to take you on the field. You're going to see the coin toss right there from the point of view of the referees. We're going to show you the bands marching out. You're going to see the teams take the field. We're bringing you the pageantry and the experience of high school football from a field point of view. You can't get that anywhere else. This is our Walker County teams highlighted in ways that they've never been before. We're going to bring you all of this. It's on Facebook Live. Don't forget, on Twitter accounts, we're doing the halftime showcase. We're bringing you the band performances, which is something completely new. So you can also see that on our Twitter accounts. We've got so much information and bringing you so much video content that's never been done before, and we're excited to bring it to you.
That's right, man. Hey, our sponsors also that we're going to be bringing to you also that help us bring this. Southern Orthopedic, of course, they've been key on everything that we've done this year. Also, Nelson, Bryan, and Cross. They've been joining us on the broadcast as we announced them. Caragor Green Funeral Home, they've been also monumental and all that. We've got some great sponsors. They're going to be bringing you this game, and we're going to be doing it not only on DME through our Mixler app, we're also going to be bringing it to you on the radio. So for this week, I think we're going to hang this up, fellas, because not only is the road calling us, my stomach's calling me.
Yeah, I've been smelling this food this entire show, and I think it's time to eat.
I think it's time to go in there. So for Jeffrey Winborn and for
Tony
Hendrick, this
Don't call
is
me James Phillips.
Don't call me James Phillips. Brian Hill signing off. Remember to tune in Friday night. We'll see you out there.